I'm in real trouble with my computer lately. Everything is going slow. Final Cut won't open, Logic won't open. It's just a pain. Now I wanted to make a little bit of a different video today. Now you see, when I film a YouTube video normally, I film everything on my main camera that I'm using right now, my Canon M6 Mark II, and it films in 4K and it's amazing and it's dead easy to use and you can get a great picture very, very easily. And one thing I never usually did was consider this, the camera on an iPhone. Now this is an iPhone XR, so it's a couple of years old now, but still the camera quality on an iPhone is amazing. I never took any notice of it, but I was out filming a few weeks ago and I used the camera on my iPhone. But what I didn't realise was this also films 4K footage. And then when I clicked record, what I didn't realise was I accidentally swiped across onto slow motion and I accidentally recorded a slow motion clip when I wanted to record normal. But I was shocked again when I saw this and I realised that it films 120 frames a second, which blew my mind. A phone can film 120 frames a second. That's the same as the max on this, the Canon M6 Mark II. That's incredible. But then I went rooting through the settings on my camera on my iPhone and I realised it can go up to 240 frames a second, which is just mind-blowing. So what I thought I would do today is I would compare the slow motion on my Canon M6 Mark II to the slow motion on an iPhone, and we can see what the difference is and just have a little bit of fun. So yeah, let's get into it. So yeah, I'm in real trouble with Final Cut at the moment. All I want to do is export this little 30-second clip. It's basically just a still image with a little waveform and it's a little promotional piece for my podcast. And yeah, real trouble. It's just not liking it at all. It's playing up completely. So if anyone's got any ideas of how to kind of reset Final Cut, please let me know, because I've had to restart my computer twice and it's just not working. So yeah, a little bit stumped because I usually edit all my videos on this and I don't have a problem, but it's not liking this little 30-second clip for some very strange reason. But anyway, yeah, slow motion video, let's get into it. Okay, so I have a little experiment set up here so we can try and compare the two cameras to each other. So obviously, as I said before, I have my Canon M6 Mark II and my iPhone XR. So I've got a few little things that I'm going to do back here that we can then turn into slow motion. So I've got a bottle of water that I'm going to spray around everywhere. I'm going to run up and down, just things that are hopefully high speed enough so when they are turned into slow motion they look good. Now, technical details out the way just before we get into it. So the Canon M6 Mark II shoots 1080p at 120 frames a second. My iPhone XR that is here, that shoots the same 1080p 120 frames a second, but it also shoots 1080p 240 frames a second, which is faster than that, and it's twice as fast as that as well. So that's quite fast. So I will shoot both of those to show you what they look like. But the Canon M6 Mark II doesn't have autofocus when you're shooting in 120 frames a second, which I've not used the slow motion on this yet, the 120 frames, but hopefully it's something you can work with and you can get it enough in focus. Now I'm going to be over there when I'm doing this, so I'm not sure if it will be okay, but that's the point of this video, so we can compare the two. This does have autofocus when you're in high frame rates. So yeah, I'm just going to quickly get set up, get these cameras in similar positions so we can compare the two images better, and I'm going to make myself look like an idiot over there throwing water around. I should just say as well, sorry, the lens I am using on the M6 Mark II is the 10-18mm, so it is very wide. I don't have a clue what the focal length is on an iPhone, so it's going to look a lot tighter in, that's why. But I might put a different lens or zoom in to full 18mm on the M6 Mark II, but you'll see, we'll figure it out. Okay, so I may have got a little bit too carried away then. I started throwing balls at walls, throwing water everywhere. I just felt like a big kid again. I've not seen any of this footage yet, so I'm going to go and shove it on the computer, have a look at it, and then we shall compare the two and talk about it. Okay, so there are some little examples of some slow motion clips, both from the Canon M6 Mark II and an iPhone XR. Now there are a few noticeable differences, as you can probably tell. I didn't colour correct either of them. So what you are seeing on all of those clips that I put together, they are all straight from the camera. So no colour editing at all whatsoever. So when it comes to the colours, there are a lot of noticeable differences, as you can probably tell. They look drastically different. For me, the colours on the Canon look a lot better. They look a lot more natural and a lot more usable, whereas when you look at the iPhone, it looks a lot more over-processed. There's a lot of colour correction already gone into place to kind of make it look that little bit better, and there's probably a few reasons for that. The sensor on an iPhone is going to be a lot smaller, so there's going to have to be a lot more color processing actually built into the phone itself to create a better looking image. But that being said, it still looks brilliant, and with a little bit of color correction as well, you could bring the saturation and the contrast down and you'll get it to look similar to the Canon. But yeah, for me, the Canon looks a lot better. A lot of people might say different, but for me, I think the colours on the Canon are a lot better. Now, Canon's colour science is absolutely amazing as well. You can 9 times out of 10 take the footage that you've shot, if you've shot it well, and just stick it straight up for a vlog or whatever and be perfectly happy with it. So yeah, colours on the Canon for me definitely look better. The second biggest difference is the lens. Now obviously on a iPhone you are stuck with that one lens that you've got. Now I know the newer iPhones have 3 different lenses, they got a wider lens and all of that, but the one on my iPhone XR, it just has one lens. It is a lot tighter than what I was using on my Canon. On the Canon I was using the 10 to 18mm. Now I still don't know what the focal length is on my iPhone XR, but with that one lens you are very limited. Whereas on a Canon, a DSLR or a mirrorless, whichever one you are using, you can change the lenses. So on mine I got the 10 to 18, I got my 18 to 55 kit lens, I've got my 55mm lens, and the possibilities are endless. You can pretty much put any lens on it at all. So creativity wise, definitely go with the Canon if you wanted to do a load of stuff. But again, the iPhone, for what it does, is absolutely amazing. And the iPhone XR is a couple of years old now, and that does only have one lens, as I said. But the new ones, they've got a wide angle lens, they've got a zoom lens that shoots a bit further as well. So yeah, the iPhone, again, I would pick the Canon obviously, but the iPhone is very, very usable. You can get some brilliant shots with it. Obviously you have to hold it a bit further back than what I was using on my Canon, but again, very, very usable, and I'm massively impressed with the iPhone. Also, can we just talk about it for 2 seconds? 240 frames a second on a phone. That is just crazy. That's twice as fast as this Canon M6. And it looks amazing. And if you're wanting to shoot super slow motion, the iPhone, I don't think you can go wrong with it. It's in your pocket all the time. Just get your iPhone out, especially with the new ones that have got the wide angle lenses and the further zoom lens. Yeah, you can't go wrong with an iPhone for super slow motion. Definitely usable. Again, if you've got the functionality and a camera, it's going to be better. You're going to have better colours and better bit rates and all of that stuff. But for something that's in your pocket all the time, you really cannot go wrong with your iPhone. Now the last main difference is autofocus. Obviously the Canon M6, as I've already said, does not have autofocus in 120 frames a second. The iPhone does, and it also has autofocus in 240 frames a second as well. So that is crazy. The fact that a camera in your pocket has autofocus at that frame rate is just mad. But again, I would choose the Canon M6 Mark II, because even though you're going to have to manually pull focus and take a little bit more time to get that image that you are after, I think the image quality is that much better and you're going to be much happier with the results. If however you're going to be filming yourself, it might be easier to use the iPhone because obviously you can't be behind the camera while you're filming yourself, so you're not going to know that you're in focus or not. Like when I was throwing the water around, I didn't know that I was in focus, and there are bits of it where I am out of focus on the Canon M6 Mark II. But again, if you can manually pull focus, I would choose the Canon. If you're going to be filming yourself in slow motion, maybe the iPhone is going to be easier, and it probably is, but again, the image quality I think is better on the Canon M6 Mark II, especially if you can pull manual focus. Now, one last thing, the Canon M6 Mark II, it doesn't record any audio while you are recording in high frame rates, such as 120 frames a second. A lot of people have been complaining about that, but I don't understand. Why do you want to record any audio at 120 frames a second? If you were recording at high frame rates like that, you are going to be slowing the footage down. So what's the point in recording any audio? Now, I suppose it can make it easier if you're trying to sync two video clips together and you need the audio to be able to do that, but you don't need any audio at 120 frames a second because it's just going to be slowed down when you slow the footage down, so it's just going to sound terrible. So anyway, I wouldn't worry about not recording any audio at 120 frames a second. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope that gives you an idea as to what the two cameras are like. Massively impressed with the iPhone, but I will personally choose the Canon M6 Mark II. But again, that is different for everyone. There's going to be times where I use the iPhone over the Canon M6, but it's all personal preference at the end of the day. Sometimes there are going to be times when it is easier to use the iPhone. Sometimes there's going to be times where you want to get that better image quality, and it's all about using the best gear at the best time, and it's all personal preference. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea as to what the two cameras are like, especially in slow motion. I love both of them, but the iPhone again has genuinely shocked me because I just kind of chucked it in my pocket, never really thought about using it, and now I'm starting to think about using it a lot more because I've kind of realized how good it is, and especially in the newer models as well, like iPhone 11 and the iPhone 12 coming out soon. Who knows what that'll be able to do. So yeah, that's it for this video. Let me know your thoughts, and I shall see you all very soon in another video.